So hi, welcome audience to the Fundenture webinar series by FundTQ. It is a series to share learnings from venture capitalists, angel networks and other investors. Joining us today as speakers are two different venture capitalists from Fluid Ventures and Marwari Catalysts. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Alpha Ventures could not join us today and we are so sorry for that. So a warm welcome to both of you. Let's have a quick introduction from our speakers. So Amit, let's start from you. Amit is from Fluid Ventures.
Thank you, Anchal, for having me here. So I'm Amit Singal. I am a chartered accountant by educational background. Accidentally enter into the venture capital industry by chance, and my entire journey related to startups are around 12 years. So I started learning about startups in year 2007, and along with I start investing as well from year 2006. So it is almost 5 years when I am investing as an angel investor, and recently in March only we received our SEBI license, which is Alternate Investment Fund Category 1 license, and we are yet to start in the investment, but I am into the ecosystem for last couple of years.
Sure. Over to Sushil. Yeah.
Hi everybody. My name is Sushil Sharma, and I'm completely opposite to what Amit ji is. I'm a dropout. I failed in 10th, passed my graduation with 3rd division. Did my post graduation because I didn't want my last degree to be a 3rd division. So finally, working as a IT professional from last 10 years, I realized that intellectual property is something which is very, very unique. So I run this venture because I was based out of Jodhpur. I started this venture called Marwari Catalyst Ventures. The initiative was started because Marwadis are known for businesses across the globe. But Western Rajasthan was not contributing a lot in terms of startups, in terms of startup founders. So we started our incubation center 2 years back, and last year we formally gave it a name of Marwari Catalyst Ventures, and we are focusing on acceleration. And yes, we have created an angel network, which is quite active, more professionals, the new generation Marwadis, and getting a wonderful response. So Rajasthan is rocking, Jodhpur is going to, Western Rajasthan is going to contribute a lot in startup ecosystem.
Sure, I think very, very interesting introduction by Amit and Sushil. So a couple of questions that we want to run during this webinar. So we would like to ask Amit that, Amit, what is the overall outlook in the startup ecosystem during and after the COVID? And what do you think would be impact on your investments? Could you highlight your portfolio companies and what do you think, where is it going?
Sure. So Achal, there is a mixed reaction in my portfolio company. There are a couple of companies which have fortune enough in the this situation itself. Like I would name a startup called PSafe, who are into personal hygiene, and I personally believe that they do wonderful in the pandemic situation itself, because their sales is being increased, and this is something like that people start understanding the importance of the personal hygiene thing. Apart from it, there are other companies who are health and wellness. They are also doing wonderful because they have certain orders, because there were restrictions in dispatching and logistic was an issue. So they have lots of orders which were increased, but they will dispatch it later, sooner. So what I will say that there are certain companies which are into health tech or personal hygiene or into technology. Like we have seen the entire shift now people are working from home. So every companies are bound to take certain initiatives in terms of technology. So the technology companies are having lots of new purchase orders which they will have to fulfill. But there are certain companies who are into restaurant business or into the physical food business or certain kinds of products which were not related to health, etc. So they are looking some downward trend as well. So I personally believe that this kind of situation where entire world is in lockdown, there will be some positive on certain type of startup, and there will be certain downside as well. So considering that, I am very much optimistic that even after this situation, lots of new opportunity will come into the picture, and the startup who are working or pivoting their ideas considering this situation can do lots of wonders here. So I had shortlisted one startup for my personal investment. I will not be able to name that company, but right now the paperwork is going on. But that was falling under future of work. And yesterday also I discussed with the founders, because now everyone is slowly moving towards fixed salary cost to freelancers thing. So there is a substantial positive impact on that company as well. So the situation will be like that, some startup will be in the next phase itself by pivoting itself. So best way is to pivot yourself according to the situation.
Sure. I think that is wonderful to hear that you are still investing, and I think that certainly will spread the positive vibe in the startup ecosystem. So coming to Sushil, which industries do you think will boom during this period? Because we hear education tech, health tech, there are two sectors which will boom. But what do you think 6 months or 1 year down the line, if a founder has to enter into this world, which industry should they focus on?
See, to be honest, I believe that, I think this is a wonderful time which is going to start. And that's why we recently created an event called Emerging Bharat. So I think after 6 down the line, India in totality, because there's a consumer's market, so every industry is going to grow. But yes, the educational health tech are the areas which I strongly believe is, going to grow. And I think we are also focusing on these two industries to invest by and large. And I think the food is something which is going to agrotech is something which is very important, but the new technology based agrotech businesses will grow. And this is what has happened. Even if we'll see the past experiences, I believe that I've done the investment which is primarily in this industry, because that's the reason we have been happy and enjoying this COVID period, because otherwise other industries are tough. So this is what is very important. And yes, we have to change a bit of volume, but these three areas are what I believe is going to rock: education, health, and agrotech. These are according to me.
Sure. Great. So coming back to Amit, as you said that you're also investing right now in certain startups. What do you look in a pitch, and what should a founder be careful of during the fundraise process?
Sure. So Achal, whenever I invest, because I am an early stage investor, we always invest considering the background of the founder. So team is extremely important for us. And I personally believe that the good team is that which can change the idea or can pivot the idea wherever it is required. In case they are very emotional with their ideas, I normally do not invest. But on the same side, in case they can pivot themselves, I am okay to invest, and they should be smart enough to understand the situation and should be able to change. So you will not believe, out of my 30 investments, 25 ideas are not that idea which were pitched to me earlier. So there are pivots and there are changes happening every time. So the founder who can assess the change, I believe that is the best founder to work with me. And on the same side, whenever I see in a pitch, I normally see what value addition I can bring to the table. In case there are certain good ideas which I like, but I feel that with my involvement, there will be no value addition, I normally do not invest in that company, because without involvement, I do not like to invest itself. So overall scenario is that the team only, because in early stage, team is the main criteria.
So I will give a value, add on to this point. So whenever we invest in a startup, it is more about the founder and the founding team, which is more important. Amit ji will agree on me on this point, and I believe that the best part with the startups is that we are quick decision makers. We change our business module. The companies at the early stage, so it is never tough for us to twist and do the value addition in the organization. So I think. It is very important, whatever you do, you should be open for a new change, always a quick decision maker. And because it's more of a tech base and, startup. So it is always easy. You can, pivot, you can do a new things. You can always change the module, and which makes us stronger and, that is the reason I think Amit, most of the startups belongs to Amit is doing great.
Yeah, that's I think a great thing, and this is one of the message that startups should take, that the founder should focus on the vision, and they have to focus on how they present their vision, because ultimately the investor is investing in founders, and idea comes secondary then.
Yeah.
So Sushil, how important is it to choose the investors wisely, especially the sectors like education, health, and agrotech that you're saying? There would be a lot of investors coming now, going forward, and there would be a dilemma in startup space, that which investor should they choose. So what should they keep in mind while choosing the investors?
So to be honest with you, I believe that choosing an investor at all point of time is very, very important. But it is very, very important at a early stage where we say as a angel investment, and that's why it has been named as an angel investment, because that is a time when you need a proper guidance, proper mentorship. You need to connect with the market. You need to pivot. You have to change your modules as per the when it's an early stage, and those stage will define your long-term perspective. So we strongly believe, that selecting a founder is very important. One thing I will definitely say here, that some of the people say that say if I'm starting something in edtech, it should be someone who is running a school or an institute. It is not important. More important is someone who understands the business, who understands the different components of business, whatever is required, because it's a balanced approach which is needed. Some of the founders I've seen, they're all technology founders who club together and start an institute. So someone need to know the business very importantly. Why I can say is because we belongs to a place which is so Marwadis has spread across the globe, I should say, and they've all been into business. The only thing which and we understand comparatively, we understand business more. So there are different components, and if your mentor is good, if your investors, and then if there is a skin in the game. So I think that makes if your mentor is good, if your advisor is good, and you enter into the right hands, I think then the speed and the size of the organization can grow fast. And I think the startup founder need to understand, sometimes they have to understand saying no and choosing a right investor, because that will decide the direction. And if your direction and industry is right, I think nobody can stop you to grow and to reach to the heights what we say is a unicorn ventures or a unicorn idea. So I believe it's a 50% contribution goes to the angel investors in any startup case.
Sure. What are your thoughts on this, Amit?
Yeah, Achal. So I have a little different thoughts about this, Achal, particularly because I personally believe that mentors or investors are two different things. So whenever some investors are paying you money, you should not say no on the basis that he can't mentor you, because investor is not supposed to mentor you. But on the same side, background check of an investor is an important part, because you need lots of his approval later on in the company. Like in case you have raised angel round, then you are raising series A round, and you need signature on SHA. In case the background is not correct of that particular investor, and he is such who stuck the deal for his personal benefit, then you should not take money in case there is a negative feedback by the existing of his portfolio company. In case there is no negative feedback about him, and he can't mentor you, but he can give you money, take it and run the show. So that's what is my opinion. And you can pay any time to the mentor for helping you, who are an expert of your company. So you can do a commercial arrangement with the mentors, and you can pay them for their mentorship. So that's my
different approaches, but I believe that unless you have a skin in the game, the people who have a skin in the game, they're concerned about the profit and loss. And then definitely, so they should not be, they should be more of a professional approach, because I have believed, because in my early stages when because I'm a first generation entrepreneur, we started from zero. So I've decided when my investors or my early stage partners were, it's only not only the money which was important for me, and which I believe is not important for all startups. It's more of a professional connects, which is equally important for a startup at an early stage. That is what is my opinion. But I think money and network both, if someone brings on table, it gives you a value addition.
So
And
definitely that
that's
is a
what's
wonderful situation where people are bringing money as well as their experience. But I feel that sometimes money is more important than the experience, because the experience can be uh, uh, for experience you can take help of others. And I heard Sachin Bansal from Flipkart as well, where he clearly mentioned that when we were required money, when people were giving us money, we were not taking, saying that we will take money later on. And when we were in the need of money, no one was giving us. So never say no to the money. So that's my funda.
I will add a small component here. I'm sorry if I'm going a bit longer, but idea is that at the angel stage, I think money and mentorship or a guidance or a connect is more important. But I think pre-series onwards, I think it is more of a money which makes a difference. That is what I suggest, and I do it personally.
Still, I feel that it is difficult to sell the dreams to someone when you are saying that this will be happen. It is all the time difficult to convince someone. And in case someone is convinced that idea stage itself and he's ready to put money in your business, so that is the better position, because at the time of Series A, Series B, normally the numbers says whatever they will have to say. So the vision does not matter a lot at Series A, Series B kind of thing. So it is always difficult to take money at the idea stage. So I am still of the opinion that whosoever is giving you money, please take it. Never say no to the money. So that's the.
I think there is a geographical change. You belongs to Delhi. I belongs to tier 2 city or rather tier 3 city called Jodhpur. So everybody has a money. The vision is a challenge. So probably that is one of the reasons. So take it forward, please. Let's go to the.
Sure.
Sure. I think different opinions matter when it comes to the startup world. So we would like to listen that there are people who are scared of losing their jobs and they want to start, but they are not able to start. So Amit, what do you advise to the aspiring founders who want to start their venture? Is it the right time to start their venture?
So I personally feel, Anshul, that right now everyone in the race is starting afresh. The people who have spent 1 year or 2 years on their idea, they will also have to change the situation according to the COVID-19. And the people who will start afresh, they will also start afresh only. So it is the right time, because there is no race at the moment and everyone will have to start from zero. So I personally feel that the person who are planning to come to the startup ecosystem, it is the right time to understand that what will be the change in the situation, and they can create the idea considering these kind of situation, and they will be more able to understand what will be the consumer behavior later on after this situation. And by doing proper research about the consumer behavior, they can start the startup. And I personally believe no time can be better than this start the idea to ideate the startup.
Sure. What is your thinking, Sushil? Because you come from an entrepreneur background and the region. So are they? What is the their sentiments?
So I believe that definitely the way you started, that there's a chances that there is a possibility that jobs will go off and all that. So entrepreneurship should not be the last option. That is what I believe. But when it comes to the time, I think specifically with reference to COVID, then there's a shift in the market. The consumer behaviors are changing. So I think that's the best time when एक बहुत पुरानी कहावत है मैम, जब एक हाथ से दूसरे हाथ पे बॉल जा रही होती है तो छीनने का सबसे अच्छा समय होता है. So business is a war, and I believe that when the ball is shifting from one hand to the another hand, so I think this is the best time to acquire the customers and people who are doing professional jobs. They are connected. Their connect is also there. I think they must start whatever dreams they've taken. Everybody who is doing a job is always willing to do a business, but this should not be the last option. So specifically, I would say take a call, leave the job, start a business. This is the best time. Everybody is looking towards India as a big market. Their exposure, their connects will definitely give you a value addition. And yes, the angel networks have grown, are growing, and they are people you need to be passionate about. That's all.
Sure. So, Sushil, that's a very nice thought that it should not be a last option. But I would also like to understand from you people, because there is no avenue of getting revenue on board. So anybody who is starting today, they have to burn cash, right? They have to invest today. They cannot expect revenue to come from day one. So what do you think that, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 or 4 or 6. How could they diversify their revenue stream to stabilize their venture?
So is this for me or for Amit? So let
For
me.
both. For both, I think we would, because you have different
So,
opinion, we would like to ask from both of you.
so if you'll ask me, I believe definitely this is a 6 months tough time, which I believe is for everybody, because for people where the industry is doing good, they daily have to invest a lot of money to grasp the bigger market, bigger ball game. And people where we feel that the other sectors which is tough by chance, they definitely have to struggle. So this period, tough time, is definitely for the 6 months. But as I'm saying that there is a money in the market. There are different people who have closed their businesses. They feel that they have to invest in technology. Tier 2, Tier 3 cities are picking up very nicely. So I think anybody who is professional, let them shift their head office to a smaller cities wherever they belongs to, so that the cost of living is low. That is one. Second, I also believe if you're passionate, if this is not the last option which you have adopted, means your motivation is high, I think fund should not be a challenge to start with. And what we say is a right co-founder, choosing a right co-founder, right investors is very important. And that's why I said that choosing a right angel investors is important, because that he does not gives you only the money, but he also gives you the initial business, which is very, very important at this point of time. So I believe that anybody who comes to Marwari Catalysts, because we are an accelerator, we believe that anybody which comes to us definitely will be sustainable and will not be a challenge. Growth is what we have to work together with. And businesses are shifting towards technology. Every small shopkeeper is also understanding what is a startup, how this technology brings a lot of change. So I feel this is 6 months time, but yes, if you're with the right hands, you should not have any worry about it. Amit, please.
Yes, Amit.
No, I echo what Sushil said. It is a really a tough time, and we will have to face these challenges. But on the same side, to add the point, it is the right time to evaluate what are your fixed costs in the business as well. So, in case your revenue is reducing, the variable cost must also be reducing by then. So, it is time to see whether you can convert your fixed cost into the variable cost, and what will be the situation after the lockdown will be over. It is important to evaluate that. So the situation should not be such where the lockdown is over and you do not have any resources to serve your customer. So we will have to plan in such a way where the cost needs to be taken care and it should be reduced. On the same side, you should be ready for the lockdown over.
Sure. That's very interesting, I think. So what are the criteria and USP of investments by Fluid Venture and Marwari Catalyst?
Amitji, first.
Yeah. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, so still from the fund as well, wherever we think we can help startups in their revenue growth, we are investing only on the startups. So the criteria for investment is we are sector agnostic. Our ticket size will be something between 1.5 crore to 2.5 crore as a first tranche, and we will do follow-on round as well for the same amount. And wherever we can help the startup in the revenue growth, that is the only criteria on which our investment committee will select the startups. And we are planning to do around 20 to 25 startup investment in the next 2 weeks.
In next 2 weeks, okay, sure. What about you, Sushil?
So with the name itself, is Marwari Catalyst is definitely focusing on an area where we should contribute something, because we say we are an accelerator and angel network. That is one. Second, right now we were only investing in a startups where at least one Marwari is there as a co-founder.
Okay.
So that was a criteria till now, and I think it's going to continue for the next 6 months. That one founder should be from Marwari area, which is not that they are physically to be here. One thing which we are very open to the market, any industries can come in and pick up. And we are at an early stage, so we are not at a zero revenue, but the bootstraps idea can always pitch in, and I think money should not be a criteria for Marwadis have a lot of money. So money is never an issue for Marwari Catalyst ventures. It's only that they like to have an idea, and we should have some value addition where we are giving some value addition to our venture. That is a USP. And the best part is in Marwari Catalyst, we have people from Dubai, we have people from Hong Kong, UK, and probably from US sometimes to go. So I think we'll be investing not only startups from India, but across the globe. That's the idea.
Great. Great. And how can startups connect with you, Sushil, if they have to send you a proposal?
So one more thing which we've decided is that we'll be more of a co-investment, means we will not be doing it an independent investments. We'll be probably joining with Startup Buddy or other partners whenever we are doing, or rather even if we are doing a demo day, we'll like other partners to join hands with us, because it's easier, because we are the people who can professional angel investors can always do a very positive side to it. So we will be doing every month a demo day where we'll be inviting. But before that, we will. So people can send us a mail. We will shortlist few of the mails. We'll try to work out with them for. We'll discuss with them for 2-3 meetings, and then we'll invite them for a demo day. And we'll try that we will be joined with some co-investment with other partners. And that's the same thing which probably will join at Startup Buddies demo day and all stuff, where we'll invest together at a revenue stage, early revenue stage. That is the idea.
Somebody with an idea can connect with you, Sushil?
No.
So you provide
only with the idea.
Only.
We will provide acceleration. We will be a co-investors in most of the cases from now. And yes, there are a couple of areas we have decided that Marwari Catalysts needs to have a hands, like the way we have invested in mentor card, because mentorship, I believe, is a very, very important component in any business. We have invested in Book Cafe, which was a connect to angel investors. New angel investors should also come in, which was very important. We will also be doing some investment with the ecosystem player, like the way we have done in Startup Chapal and other companies. So I think there are 2-3 areas where we have already shortlisted, where we're going to invest at the ideation stage, where we want bigger stakeholding. Otherwise, we'll be doing a demo day, and we'll be ideas will not be very open for a 0 point of idea, because that's tough to work out.
Sure. Over to Amit. Amit, I believe that Fluid Ventures will only look at the startups with growth, at least some revenue coming in. What other criteria do you look at, and how can they connect with you?
So the criteria is the same, that they should be at revenue stage. It can be a early revenue, like less than $500,000 or maybe less than that. Means ideally we are looking for the companies where they have annual turnover of around 3 crore rupees, something like that. Related to connects, we have our investment analysis. His name is Akshay Grover. His email ID is Akshay, AKSHAY @fluidvc.in. And people can send him an email. He do his homework, and based on that, he bring the selected startups to the investment committee. So that is the process. So in case someone will send the emails to Akshay, that will be the faster, rather than in case someone will send the deck to my LinkedIn, that will be very long process. First I will give him, then he will analyze it. It will be longer process.
Sure. I think the founders must have noted your email ID. Sushil, what is your email ID where people can connect with you?
My ID is Sushil @marwaricatalyst.com. And I'm accessible to LinkedIn. So you can definitely have a first round of discussion on LinkedIn, and then we can take it forward from there.
Sure. Perfect. Thanks a lot, Amit and Sushil, for this wonderful session. I think you had different opinions, but I think both of your opinion matter a lot for the startup economy to start. And surely we think that this webinar series could add value to your venture and to FundTQ. Thanks a lot for coming as speakers. All the best.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you.